Okay, so since last we've spoken, my rating has raised over 150 points. Um, I started to study more and take my time and not play when I was actually tired, even though, when you're a chess junkie like I am, you want to play all the time. So the opponent that I'm playing here uh, was is rated 1596, and myself I'm rated 1472. So obviously neither one of us are beginners. We're advanced intermediates. 1,000 points from grandmaster, so we are nowhere near that level. But we can still offer um, pretty good advice for some beginning players. And there's a couple of things in this video that I want to point out, that even when your opponent is rated 100 points higher, like my opponent was, they still have to abide by the opening principles. You have to develop your minor pieces. They're going to get you trapped. They're going to get you in trouble. You're not going to have a full army to go against an attack. And there were some strategies that I employed that allowed me to be successful. Perhaps if we played again, he may win, maybe not. But if he keeps breaking the opening principles, then I'll definitely have better position, because I am a positional chess player. Okay. So with that being said, let's look at the position. Let's look at the game. So the d4. I always go to the London when I'm playing someone that's much stronger than myself. Bishop f4. The generator, because the way I open, they call it the Queen's Pawn game. Mason attack is actually in London. I just have a different move order. Bishop d3. Wanting to control this file here to attack the h7 square. Bishop d6. And then I retreat the bishop to g3, daring him to take the bishop and open up the h file. c6. And I play knight f3. He plays c5, and I immediately play the move c4. He takes, and I threaten his bishop. He takes, and then I take and threaten his bishop again. And this was done. I did this to get his mind away from tying up this file here, putting a pawn there. Okay, so all right, now I'm pushing on this side, and he's gonna push as well, and that's fine. Okay, so queen b6. Then I immediately play the move knight to g5.
Going Wisconsin, Michigan. I mean, Wisconsin lost that game to BYU. That was
okay, so it's telling me that I should take the bishop now. I am going to take the bishop, but just not just yet. So he threatens a knight, and now I want to change knights. Okay, so now I have to keep protection on this bishop. I go ahead and castle short side, and now the goal is, since he knew in the previous videos I told you, if that was a mistake to take that the pawn when the king is uncastled. For him to take this bishop is a mistake, because I capture him and I open up this file. He's a good chess player, and he knows that, so that's why he didn't take it. This is just something I want to point out. So now harass the queen a little bit. Now I'm subtly getting the knight into the game and centralizing my rooks. Now he takes. I'm not going to take with the knight, because I want the rooks to have a file. I take with the pawn, and I leave the knight available to still protect the bishop and the queen to still protect the bishop here uh, on h7, and the knight is really vital in opening up the position more. Queen, okay, so the queen gives queen e3 check, pushing me over into the corner to start the checkmating process. Now he has a pin on the rook, so I move the rook to in front of the queen so that I can move the knight. Now, let's look at this. The only reason I did this was to threaten the queen and allow the knight to capture this pawn because I want this bishop to stay safe. He's attempting to block off the defender, which is another way to remove the defender. And if you play chess long enough, you're going to hear that term, remove the defender, because this bishop is a real problem. So he moves there, and then that's a check. Now, he could have definitely taken this bishop with the king. However, the queen is here, and then I would have immediately played the move. Knight takes f8 check with the queen, and then if he went to block, I would come straight down and play the move queen c8 check, and then start running his king all over the board. So he didn't do that. He took the knight, I took back with the bishop. And now he's protecting the queen, preparing for perhaps a queen exchange. But that's not what I want to do. I just dropped the queen back. Okay. And then he played this move to take the bishop, which was a serious blunder on his part. So queen g4, that's a blunder, because now checkmate is unavoidable. There's no way he can stop checkmate from here, because now it's queen takes h6 check, and then queen h7, which is mate. The king can't stay where it is. He can't move to h8, and he can't move to he can't move to f7, and he was being blocked on f8 by his rook. So that was a very nice checkmate. Him moving the queen was a huge mistake. I think the only pawn that he was paying attention to was the pawn here on e5, which is one of the centralized pawns, and that's why he was willing to swap. But if you look, what would have happened had he had a knight here, or if his knight was here, or if his knight was here instead of his pawn? He never deployed his knights. What if his rooks were connected? He would have had more options. But he never developed this minor piece. He left, which trapped the rook in the corner. And if you remember the opening principles, if you don't remember, I'll go over them again. Open to control the center of the board. Avoid openings which are open from the end, no matter how many times you've lost to opening like that. That's just trickery. When you play good chess players, they're going to control the center, and I assure you, the player who can control those center four squares, which are right here, will most times win the game. Those trick openings only work once, and once someone has seen them, it doesn't take long to realize how to win against them. The next one is develop your minor pieces. Knights, bishops, those are your minor pieces. Rooks are your major pieces along with your queen. Never open with your queen and move your queen around the board. people who do that, they've been doing it for a long time. But when you play another chess player that is good, they're going to trap your queen off and take her, or swap queens with you. And because the queen is the featured attacker in your setup, you will lose fairly fast because your pieces are typically not developed, and if they've been developed in theirs while chasing your queen around the board and then set up a queen swap, you're going to have a hard time defending that because your pieces aren't developed, they're blocked in, and they're going to start a mating attempt on your king. The next is to um, castle your king to king safety. So once you get your king to safety, um, then you want to connect your rook. So you can move the queen up to one square, and now your rooks are connected. Your king is safe, your rooks are connected, your queen is guarding the seventh rank, and now you're ready to formulate some type of attack or continuing to build upon a defense if you're playing as black. Um, then you want to centralize your rooks. Centralizing your rooks, typically, you don't have to be right here in the middle of the board with both rooks, although they're good positions to have right on the D and the E square, controlling those. Sometimes having them on an open file, whether it be here on the open file on the extremities or in the middle on the open file, when the rooks have an open file, they perform their best. So that was this video. I wanted you to see just how versatile the London system can be. You can trade off that black bishop, which is the London bishop, and still do a lot of damage with the white bishop. As you can see here, I actually checkmated my opponent using the white bishop. But the London is very versatile. It's very good against playing opponents that are ranked higher than you, and it just does a lot for a beginning player once you learn how to combat some of the counterplay that players are learning to use against the London. More and more people are using the London system, so it's making it a little more tougher to employ those tactics in the London. So you really need to learn the London very, very well and play with it a lot and study key positions in the London. Thank you so much for watching the video. Leave a comment and share the video and ask any questions, and I will respond. Thanks. And hit the subscribe button.